I didn't just get my coworker fired for stealing my code. I got his wife arrested, and now the entire company is under federal investigation for a coordinated harassment campaign that she ran from her iPhone. I, 29M, work at a mid-sized logistics firm. For the past 6 months, I've been developing a proprietary routing algorithm that cuts delivery times by nearly 40%. It's not just a side project. It's the entire reason our operations department is still functional during the supply chain crunches. My coworker, Derek, 34M, is a senior account manager. He has zero coding ability, but he's a smooth talker. He used to hover around my desk, asking for layman's summaries to tell the clients, claiming he needed to manage their expectations. I was stupid enough to explain the mechanics to him in detail, thinking he was just doing his job. Last month, the COO called a closed-door strategy meeting. I wasn't on the invite list. Derek told me it was just a budgetary talk and that my presence would bore me. I didn't think much of it. The next day, there was a company-wide announcement. Derek was being promoted to Director of Operations Innovation. They cited his visionary development of the new routing system that he had single-handedly coded and implemented. They even projected my fucking code on the screen during the town hall with his name plastered on it. I snapped. I bypassed HR initially. I went straight to the head of IT security and requested a full audit of the repository timestamps, my login history, and even the security camera footage from the server room. I compiled a dossier, Slack messages where he asked me to dumb it down so he could explain it to the execs, emails where I sent him the compiled modules, and the final nail, a voice memo I accidentally recorded on my phone during one of his hovering sessions where he explicitly says, "If anyone asks, you just consulted on this, okay? I need the optics for the client meeting." I sent it to the COO, the CEO, and the entire board of directors. Now, my office is a war zone. The morning after I sent that email, I walked into the building and felt the shift immediately. The usual hum of conversation in the lobby died the second I stepped through the revolving doors. People who normally said good morning suddenly found their shoelaces fascinating or became intensely interested in their phone screens. I made eye contact with a woman from payroll named Patricia who I've exchanged pleasantries with for 3 years. She looked at me like I had just kicked her dog, then whispered something to the security guard behind the desk. The guard, a guy named Marcus who always jokes with me about sports, just stared straight ahead like I was invisible. I took the stairs instead of the elevator because I couldn't handle being trapped in a metal box with that energy. By the time I reached the 3rd floor, my phone started buzzing. Someone had created a WhatsApp group called Team Ethics Discussion and added about 40 people from the company, including me. I scrolled up to see how it started. The first message was from a number I didn't recognize, just a screenshot of the company announcement about Derek's promotion with a red circle around his name and a question mark emoji. Then came the messages. Anyone know what actually happened? Derek's been here forever. This is messed up. I heard someone went nuclear to the board. Then a woman named Chloe from customer service, someone I've never spoken to in my life, posted. It was the IT guy, the quiet one. He's been crying about code ownership for weeks apparently. I typed a response before I could stop myself. It's my code. I wrote every line. He presented it as his own. The group went silent for exactly 90 seconds. Then the messages came flooding back. Chloe, nobody asked you to join this group. This is for actual employees who care about the company culture. Me, I am an actual employee. I've been here for years. Chloe, for years and you still don't understand how things work? Derek brings in clients. You sit in a corner typing. Who do you think management values more? I didn't respond. I pocketed my phone and walked onto the floor. My cubicle is in the back corner near the IT closet, which suddenly felt like being in a fishbowl. Every time someone walked past, they'd slow down and stare. I heard whispering, but couldn't make out the words. I sat down and opened my laptop. 23 emails. Most of them automated notifications, but 3 were from people I barely knew asking for clarification on what I had done. One from a guy in shipping named Marco basically accused me of trying to get Derek fired because I was threatened by charismatic leadership. At 10 a.m., I had to use the bathroom. On my way back, I ran into Vance from accounting, the stocky guy who would later shove me against the vending machine. At this point, he hadn't touched me yet, but the hostility was already there. He was standing by the water cooler with 2 other guys I didn't recognize. As I walked past, Vance spoke loud enough for the entire floor to hear. Some people just can't handle seeing someone else succeed. They'd rather burn the whole building down than admit they're just cogs in the machine. I stopped walking. I turned around. Are you talking to me? Vance smiled. That smug look people get when they think they've won a confrontation confrontation without throwing a punch. If the shoe fits, pal, you think anyone's gonna remember your code in 5 years? They'll remember Derek. They'll remember the guy who could actually talk to people. You're just bitter because you realized too late that the world runs on relationships, not keystrokes. My hands were shaking. I wanted to walk away. I should have walked away. But the 3 months of silence, the hovering, the theft, the town hall with my code on the screen, it all came rushing up my throat. I stepped closer to him. You want to talk about what people will remember? They'll remember that you stood next to a thief and clapped when he got promoted for work he didn't do. They'll remember that your opinion was so worthless that you had to ambush people at water coolers to feel relevant. Keep talking, Vance. Keep defending him. See if he remembers your name when he's gone. Vance's smile disappeared. The 2 guys with him looked at each other. One of them, a skinny kid with glasses, actually took a step back. Vance opened his mouth to respond, but I was already walking away. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my temples. I got back to my cubicle and sat down, and my hands were still shaking when I tried to type. At noon, I made the mistake of going to the break room to heat up my lunch. The room was packed. As soon as I walked in, the conversation stopped. Not gradually, instantly, like someone had flipped a switch. Everyone looked at me, then looked away, then started talking again, but quietly, with their heads together. I stood there by the microwave, waiting for my food to heat up, and I could hear snippets of conversation. Can't believe he's still here. HR should have handled it privately. My husband says that's theft of intellectual property, but it's just code, right? It's not like physical property. Derek's wife is devastated. She posted about it on Facebook. I grabbed my food and left. I ate at my desk, staring at my monitor, not tasting a single bite. That afternoon, I got a calendar invite from the COO's assistant for a preliminary fact-finding discussion scheduled for the next morning. No details, no agenda, just a 30-minute block on the COO's calendar. I spent the rest of the day alternating between staring at that invite and trying to work, but I couldn't focus. Every time I tried to look at my code, I just saw Derek's name on the projection screen. At 4:30 p.m., my phone buzzed again. Someone had found my personal Facebook profile. I don't post much, mostly just memes and occasional photos of my dog. But suddenly, a post I made 3 years ago about a bad customer service experience at a restaurant had 20 new comments, all from accounts with no profile pictures or obviously fake names. You steal from veterans? Hope you enjoy your dog because it's the only friend you'll have after this. Everyone knows what you did. Karma is coming. I reported the comments and changed my privacy settings to lock everything down, but the damage was done. My phone number was out there now. I started getting text messages from unknown numbers. Most of them just said things like liar or snitch or hope it was worth it. One of them said, watch your back, with a string of emojis that I'm not going to repeat. I left work at 5:15, which is early for me. I usually stay until 6:30 or 7, but I couldn't handle another minute in that building. On my way out, I passed Derek's office. His door was open. He was sitting at his desk, phone pressed to his ear, laughing about something. When he saw me walk past, he waved. Not a sarcastic wave, not a hostile wave, a genuine, friendly wave, like we were buddies, like nothing had happened. That wave messed with my head more than any of the insults. The next morning, I showed up for the fact-finding meeting. I put on my best button-down shirt, tried to make myself look presentable, and walked into the COO's office at exactly 9 a.m. The COO is a woman named Margaret, late 50s, sharp dresser, never smiles. She's been with the company for 20 years, and everyone fears her. Sitting next to her was a lawyer type I didn't recognize, a man in an expensive suit with a tablet on his knee. Also in the room was the head of IT security, a quiet guy named Raj who I've worked with on several projects. No Derek, no HR. Margaret gestured for me to sit. I sat. The lawyer spoke first. We've reviewed your documentation. The timestamps are compelling. The voice memo is problematic for Mr. Coulson. I felt a flicker of hope. So you believe me? Margaret cut in. Believing you and acting on it are two different things. Derek has been here 8 years. He has client relationships worth millions. He has a family. He's a veteran. These are factors we have to consider. I stared at her. He stole my work. He lied to the entire company. He got promoted based on fraud. The lawyer nodded. We understand your position. We're exploring options that address the situation without causing unnecessary collateral damage. What does that mean? Margaret leaned forward. It means we're considering a compromise. Derek keeps his promotion, but you receive a formal acknowledgement of your contribution. A bonus, perhaps. A title adjustment. We keep this internal, avoid litigation, avoid public embarrassment for anyone. I couldn't breathe for a second. You're going to let him keep the promotion? The promotion he got from my work. Margaret's expression didn't change. He's already been announced. Walking it back would cause chaos. Clients would hear about it. Investors would hear about it. We're trying to protect the company. I stood up. I didn't plan to. My body just moved. You're trying to protect yourselves. You don't care about the work. You don't care about the truth. You just want the noise to stop. The lawyer held up a hand. Sit down. We're not finished. I didn't sit. I am finished. I sent you the evidence. I proved he stole from me. And you're offering me a bonus to shut up and let him keep what he took? That's not a compromise. That's a bribe. Margaret's voice got cold. Watch your tone. You're an at-will employee. We're trying to be generous here. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It just came out. Generous? You're trying to buy my silence so you don't have to admit you promoted a fraud. That's not generous. That's damage control. The lawyer stood up too. If you walk out of this room without accepting this offer, we cannot guarantee your position here. There will be consequences. I looked at Raj, the IT security head. He wouldn't meet my eyes. He just stared at his shoes. I walked out. The rest of that day was a blur. I went back to my desk and sat there, staring at nothing. People walked past. Whispers continued. My phone buzzed constantly with more messages, more WhatsApp notifications, more Facebook comment alerts. I ignored all of it. Around 2 p.m., I got an email from HR scheduling a follow-up discussion for the next week. No details, just a placeholder. At 3 p.m., Derek walked onto the floor. He didn't go to his office. He walked straight to my cubicle. He stood there, looming over me, arms crossed. You really screwed yourself, he said, calmly, quietly, like he was explaining something obvious to a child. I looked up at him. Get away from my desk. He ignored that. Margaret called me after your meeting. She told me you rejected the deal. Do you have any idea how stupid that is? They were offering you a way out, a way to save face, and you threw it away because your feelings are hurt. My feelings aren't hurt. My work was stolen. Derek leaned down, putting his hands on the walls of my cubicle, boxing me in. Here's the thing about work. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to whoever can do something with it. You wrote some code. Congratulations. I turned that code into a promotion, into client trust, into actual value for this company. You should be thanking me. I stood up. My chair rolled back and hit the filing cabinet. We were face to face now, inches apart. Thank you? Thank you for what? For lying? For stealing? For spending 3 months pretending to care about my work so you could stab me in the back? Derek smiled. That same smile from the town hall. I didn't stab you in the back. I just stepped over you. There's a difference. You're the kind of guy who spends 6 months on a project and never once thinks about who's going to present it. Never once thinks about optics or narratives or relationships. You just sit in your corner and type. And then you're shocked when someone else gets the credit. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think Margaret was going to call you up on stage and give you a medal? Did you think anyone cares about the guy typing in the corner? My voice came out louder than I intended. They care when the typing stops. They care when the algorithm breaks and you can't fix it because you don't understand a single line of it. I'll take a quick break here to remind you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying the story and tell us if something like this has ever happened to you. They care when the system you took credit for crashes and you have to come crawling back to the guy in the corner to bail you out. Derek laughed. You think I can't find another coder? You think you're the only person on earth who can write a routing algorithm? Please, you're replaceable. You've always been replaceable. The only reason you had any value at all was because I bothered to ask you questions. I made you relevant. And this is how you repay me? By crying to the board. I shoved him. Not hard, but enough to make him step back. Get out of my space. He didn't move. Or what? You'll push me again? You'll send more emails? You'll record more conversations? Go ahead. Do it. Show everyone exactly who you are. Show them the unhinged coder who can't handle competition. I was yelling now. I couldn't stop. Competition? You think this is competition? Competition requires both people to actually participate. You didn't compete. You lurked. You hovered. You asked me to explain things so you could pretend you understood them. You're not my competition. You're a parasite with a suit. The entire floor had gone silent. I could feel eyes on us from every direction. Derek looked around, soaking it in, playing to the crowd. Parasite, he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. That's rich coming from a guy who lives in his mom's basement and thinks coding is a personality. I've closed more deals in 1 quarter than you've written lines of code. I've brought more money into this company than you'll ever see. And you want to talk about parasites? Look in the mirror. I didn't know he had gotten to people in my personal life until that moment. I don't live with my mom. I never have. He was just saying things to hurt me, to make me look small in front of everyone. And it worked. I heard someone snicker. Someone else whispered something to their neighbor. I pointed a finger at his chest. Keep my family out of your mouth. You don't know anything about me. Derek spread his hands wide, still playing to the crowd. I know you're standing here screaming at a veteran in front of 40 witnesses because you didn't get a gold star. I know you've spent the last week making this company miserable because your ego couldn't handle someone else succeeding. I know you're about to get fired, and I'm going to be standing right here watching when security walks you out. I I opened my mouth to respond, but nothing came out. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I was so angry I couldn't form words. Derek saw it. He smiled again, that same smug smile, and walked away. He walked back to his office like nothing happened, like he hadn't just humiliated me in front of everyone. I sat back down. My hands were shaking again. My face was burning. I could hear the whispers starting up around me. Louder now, less careful. Did you hear what he said about Derek's wife? He's unhinged. Seriously unhinged. Someone should call security. I put my headphones on and cranked the volume until I couldn't hear anything. I stared at my screen and tried to breathe. I didn't get any work done for the rest of the day. That night, I made the mistake of checking my social media again. The burner Instagram account that had posted about me before was back, this time with a photo of me leaving the building that day. The caption read, "This guy thinks he's a genius, but he still lives with his mom. Snitches get stitches." The comments were worse than the post. People I didn't know, people I'd never met, were calling me every name you can think of. Some of them were from the company. I recognized a few profile pictures. People I saw every day were out there publicly trashing me. My Facebook was worse. Someone had found an old photo of me at a company picnic from 2 years ago and posted it in a comment thread with the caption, "Spot the loser." The post had been shared to some kind of local community group, and now strangers were piling on. One woman commented that I looked like I smelled like energy drinks and regret. A guy said I had resting snitch face. I deleted the apps from my phone. I couldn't look at it anymore. The next day at work was somehow worse. The whispers were louder. The stares were longer. Vance from accounting was waiting for me by the coffee machine. When I walked up to get my morning cup, he deliberately stepped in front of me and took his time pouring, even though there were 2 other machines open. "Excuse me," I said. He didn't move. "What's the rush? Got more emails to send." "Move, Vance." He turned around, coffee in hand, and looked me up and down. "You know what I heard? I heard you called Derek's wife. I heard you messaged her on Facebook and threatened her. That's low, man. Even for you." My blood went cold. I never messaged his wife. She messaged me. Vance laughed. "Sure, that's exactly what someone who messaged someone's wife would say. Look, I get it. You're angry. You feel slighted. But bringing families into it, threatening a woman, that's a whole different level. That's psycho behavior. I didn't threaten anyone. She called me trash. I responded. That's it." Vance shook his head like he felt sorry for me. "That's not what the screenshots show. But hey, you believe what you need to believe. Just know that everyone knows what you did. Everyone's watching you now. One wrong move, one more email, one more scream fest in the middle of the office, and you're done. And I'll be right there clapping when it happens." He walked away. I stood there by the coffee machine, not even wanting coffee anymore, just standing there like an idiot while people walked past and stared. I went back to my desk. I tried to work. I couldn't. I opened the code for the routing algorithm, the thing that started all of this, and I couldn't look at it without seeing Derek's face, without hearing his voice saying I was replaceable, without feeling the weight of 40 people watching me lose my mind. At 11 a.m., I got a text from an unknown number. It was a screenshot of a Facebook post from Derek's wife. The post was public. It showed a photo of Derek with their 2 kids, and the caption read, "Proud of my husband for staying strong while cowards try to tear him down. Some people have nothing better to do than attack successful men. We see you. We know who you are, and we're not afraid." The comments were full of people from the company. Patricia from payroll had commented, "Stay strong, girl. The truth always comes out." Chloe from customer service had written, "Sending love. He doesn't deserve this." Even Marcus, the security guard, had liked the post. I texted back to the unknown number, "Who is this?" No response. I tried to call. The number was disconnected. I spent the rest of the day in a fog. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't go to the break room. I didn't check my phone. I just sat at my desk and stared at my screen, pretending to work while my brain raced through every possible scenario. What was I going to do? What could I do? They were everywhere. Online, in the office, in my phone. Everywhere I turned, there was another person ready to tell me I was wrong, that I was the bad guy, that I deserved what was happening. At 5 p.m., I packed up to leave. As I walked toward the elevator, I passed Derek's office again. The door was closed this time, but I could see him through the glass. He was on the phone, laughing, leaning back in his chair. He saw me walk past and raised his hand in that same friendly wave. I kept walking. The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside. Just as they were closing, a hand reached in and stopped them. It was Raj, the head of IT security. He stepped into the elevator and stood next to me. We rode down in silence for a few floors. Then he spoke quietly, without looking at me. "I reviewed the footage you requested. The server room logs. The timestamps are solid. Your case is solid." I looked at him. "Then why am I the one getting destroyed?" He finally turned to me. "Because you're fighting the truth. They're fighting the narrative. The truth takes time. The narrative happens instantly. You sent an email. They sent screenshots. You documented facts. They documented feelings. In a week, nobody's going to read your emails. But they'll still remember Derek's wife's Facebook post. They'll still remember you screaming at Vance. That's how it works." The elevator reached the lobby. The doors opened. Raj walked out without another word. I stood there for a moment, watching him disappear into the parking garage, then walked to my car. That was 3 days ago. Since then, the pressure has only increased. There's a meeting scheduled for Monday with HR and legal. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'll have a job by the end of the week. I don't know if any of this was worth it. But I do know one thing. I haven't backed down. I haven't apologized. I haven't accepted their deals. And no matter what happens on Monday, I'm not going to let them make me feel like I was wrong for defending my own work. The office is still a war zone. The messages keep coming. The whispers keep spreading. Derek still waves at me every time I walk past his office. Vance still finds ways to be wherever I am. Margaret hasn't spoken to me since the meeting. The lawyer's card is still on my desk. My phone is full of screenshots and threats and strangers telling me I'm garbage. Update 1. The morning after my fact-finding meeting with Margaret and the lawyer, I walked into the building and found a printed screenshot taped to my parking spot. Someone had taken a photo of me from the company directory, drawn a red target over my face, and written "Information Leaker" in Sharpie across the bottom. I stood there staring at it for a full minute. My car was the only one in that row. It was meant for me. No mistake. No coincidence. Someone had come early specifically to do this. I pulled the paper off the concrete and walked inside. Marcus, the security guard, was at his post. He saw me coming and looked down at his phone. Didn't say good morning. Didn't acknowledge me. Just let me walk past like I was invisible. I stopped at his desk. "You see anyone coming early this morning? Before shift change maybe." Marcus didn't look up. Didn't see nothing. Someone put something on my parking spot. Security cameras cover that lot. Now he looked up. His face was neutral, but his eyes were hard. Camera's been acting up. Nothing recorded since midnight. Technical issues. I stared at him. Technical issues. Right. He went back to his phone. I walked to the elevator. The technical issues excuse would come up a lot over the next few days. Anytime I asked for footage, anytime I requested logs, anytime I tried to document what was happening to me, there was always a reason why the evidence couldn't be accessed. System updates, corrupted files, maintenance windows. The company had suddenly become a black hole where proof went to die. I got to my floor and walked toward my cubicle. Someone had been there already. My monitor was unplugged. My keyboard was upside down. My chair was gone, replaced by a broken office chair with a missing wheel that listed to one side. On my desk, someone had left a printed email chain. It was an old exchange from 3 years ago between two managers who had since left the company, arguing about budget allocations. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with anything. Just random pages from someone's archived trash, dumped on my keyboard like a message. "We can get to your stuff whenever we want." I righted the keyboard, plugged in the monitor, and sat in the broken chair. It wobbled constantly. Every time I moved, it creaked and tilted. I spent 20 minutes trying to adjust it before giving up and just dealing with the constant instability. At 9 a.m., my phone buzzed. The WhatsApp group from before, the one called Team Ethics Discussion, had a new message. Chloe from customer service had posted another screenshot. This time it was of my response to Derek's wife, the one where I said his family was built on sand. But it was edited. In the screenshot she posted, my message read, "Maybe if your husband built something himself instead of stealing code, your family wouldn't be built on sand. Tell him to check his back." They added a threat. 3 words at the end that I never wrote. Check his back. Like I was going to physically attack him. Like I was threatening violence. The screenshot looked real. The font matched. The timestamp matched. But those 3 words were never mine. The comments exploded. He actually threatened him? Someone needs to call police. This guy is unhinged. I can't believe he still works here. Derek's wife must be terrified. I typed a response. That's edited. I never said that. The original message is on my phone. I can prove it. Chloe responded immediately. "Sure you can. Just like you can prove Derek stole code." "Oh wait, you already tried that, and nobody believes you." Another person, someone I didn't recognize, posted, "You threatened a veteran and his family over a job. You're garbage." Me, I didn't threaten anyone. Read the actual message. Compare timestamps. Compare word counts. This is defamation. Chloe, defamation is what you did to Derek's reputation. Defamation is spreading lies about a good man. You're the defamer. You're the problem. Everyone knows it. I left the group. 30 seconds later, someone added me back. I left again. They added me again. This happened 7 times before I gave up and just muted the notifications. Every time I left, someone with admin privileges re-added me. There was no escape from it. At 10 a.m., I had to use the bathroom. On my way back, I passed the break room and heard my name. I stopped outside the door and listened. Like, genuinely, what does he think is going to happen? Does he think they're going to fire Derek and give him the corner office? Does he think everyone's just going to clap for him? That was Vance's voice. I recognized his nasal tone. Another voice, female, someone from marketing, I thought. My boyfriend says in his industry, guys like that get blacklisted. Like, literally cannot find work anywhere because everyone knows they're toxic. Vance again. Good. He should be blacklisted. He should have to move cities and start over. What he did to Derek's wife was unforgivable. My wife saw her post. She was crying. I'll take a quick break here to remind you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying the story, and tell us if something like this has ever happened to you. Crying over some nerd who couldn't handle not being the smartest person in the room for 5 minutes. The female voice. Did he really threaten to hurt Derek? Vance. That's what the screenshot showed. He said check his back. What else could that mean? He's gonna jump him in the parking lot. He's gonna wait for him after work. Guy's a psycho. Complete psycho. I pushed the door open. Vance was leaning against the counter, coffee in hand, talking to a woman named Tessa from marketing who I've exchanged maybe 10 words within 4 years. They both froze when they saw me. Vance recovered first. That smug smile spread across his face. Oh look, it's the man of the hour. Come to get coffee? Better check it first. Might be poison. I walked toward him. Not fast, not aggressive, just walking. He didn't move. Tessa slipped past me and out the door, leaving us alone. You want to say that to my face, Vance? Or just behind my back where it's safe? He pushed off the counter and puffed up his chest. He's bigger than me. Stockier. Probably stronger. But right then I didn't care. I was past caring. Happy to say it to your face. You're a psycho. You threatened a veteran's family because your feelings got hurt. Everyone knows it. Everyone's talking about it. You think you're gonna have a career after this? You think anyone's gonna hire the guy who threatens wives and kids over a PowerPoint? I got closer. Close enough to smell the coffee on his breath. It wasn't a PowerPoint. It was 6 months of work. 6 months of nights and weekends. 6 months of solving problems that people like you don't even know exist. And he took it. He stood on a stage and called it his. And you clapped for him. You sat there and clapped for a thief. Vance laughed. Thief. He's a senior account manager. You're a coder. You don't steal from coder. Coder's a resource. You're lumber. He's the carpenter. You don't get credit for the tree. You get credit for the house. That analogy. That stupid, smug analogy. I felt something break loose inside me. You want to talk about houses? Let's talk about yours. I know about your house, Vance. I know about your refinance. I know about the helic you took out last year. I know because I saw the documents when you left them on the copier. I know you're drowning. I know you're one missed paycheck away from losing it. And I know you're sucking up to Derek because you think he can save you. But here's the truth. Derek doesn't care about you. Derek doesn't care about anyone. He's using you just like he used me. And when this is over, when he's gone or I'm gone, you'll still be drowning. You'll still be one paycheck away from the street. And you'll have nothing. Nothing but the memory of the time you defended a thief in a break room. Vance's face went red. His hands balled into fists. You don't know anything about my finances. You don't know anything about me. I smiled. It felt ugly on my face. I know you're scared. I know you're desperate. I know you're lashing out at me because I'm an easier target than the reality of your situation. But I'm not your enemy, Vance. I'm just the guy who won't shut up and take it. And that terrifies you because if I can fight back, maybe you should have too. Maybe you should have fought back years ago instead of becoming whatever this is. He swung. Not a full punch, more of a shove with a closed fist. It caught me on the shoulder and spun me into the table. I caught myself and turned back to him. That all you got? That the best you can do? He came at me again. This time I was ready. I sidestepped and he stumbled past me, hitting the counter. Dishes rattled. Someone outside screamed. I heard footsteps running. Vance turned around, breathing hard. I'll kill you. I swear to God I'll kill you. I laughed. Actually laughed. Kill me? In front of 40 witnesses? With cameras everywhere? You really think that's the solution to your mortgage problem? Go ahead. Take the swing. See where it gets you. He hesitated. That moment of hesitation told me everything. He was all talk. He'd been all talk from the beginning. The bullying, the posturing, the standing behind Derek. It was all because underneath it, he was terrified. Terrified of losing his job. Terrified of losing his house. Terrified of being exposed as the fraud he really was. The door burst open. 3 people from HR piled in, led by a woman named Janice who I'd never spoken to but recognized from orientation videos. She took one look at us. Vance against the counter, breathing heavy. Me standing in the middle of the room with my hands up and pointed at both of us. Both of you. My office. Now. Vance straightened up. He started it. He came at me. He threatened me. Janice looked at me. Is that true? I shook my head. He's been harassing me for weeks. He just took a swing at me. Ask anyone who saw it. Janice looked around the door. Tessa was standing there, along with half a dozen other people who had gathered to watch. Did anyone see what happened? Silence. Complete, total silence. Tessa looked at the floor. The others looked anywhere but at me. Janice turned back to us. Both of you. Now. We followed her to HR. Vance walked ahead of me, shoulders back, like he'd already won. I walked behind him, adrenaline fading, reality setting in. I was going to get fired. This was it. This was how it ended. HR is on the 4th floor, a long corridor of identical offices with frosted glass doors. Janice led us to a conference room at the end and told us to wait. She left. Vance and I sat on opposite sides of the table, staring at each other. You're done, he said. You know that, right? Physical altercation, threats, harassment. They've been looking for a reason to get rid of you since you sent that email. I just gave it to them. I didn't respond. I was too tired, too empty. I just sat there and stared at the table. 20 minutes passed, then 30, then 45. My phone buzzed constantly, but I didn't look at it. Vance's phone buzzed too. He kept checking his, smirking at whatever he saw. Finally, Janice came back with another woman I didn't recognize. eyes. They sat across from us. The other woman introduced herself as someone from legal, a name I forgot immediately. She had a tablet and a cold expression. Janice spoke first. We have conflicting accounts of what happened in the break room. We've reviewed the footage. I perked up. Footage. There were cameras in the break room. I knew there were. I'd seen them. Janice continued. The audio is unusable. There's a technical issue with the microphone in that camera. Hasn't worked in 6 months, but the video is clear. Technical issue. Of course the microphone didn't work. The video shows Mr. Vance approaching Mr. Thompson. It shows Mr. Thompson walking toward Mr. Vance. It shows Mr. Vance swinging at Mr. Thompson. It shows Mr. Thompson stepping aside. It shows Mr. Vance swinging again. It shows Mr. Thompson not swinging back. Vance's face changed. The smirk disappeared. He threatened me. He said things about my family. He provoked me. The legal woman spoke for the first time. Provocation isn't justification for physical violence. Not in this company. Not anywhere. Vance stood up. You're taking his side? After everything he's done? After he threatened Derek's wife? After he sent those emails? You're taking his side. Janice motioned for him to sit. He didn't. Nobody's taking sides. We're stating facts. The video shows you swinging. It shows him not swinging. That's the extent of our determination at this time. Vance pointed at me. He's the problem. He's been the problem from day one. He's toxic. He's destroying this company. And you're sitting here blaming me because I finally had enough of his mouth. The legal woman again. Mr. Vance, I suggest you sit down and lower your voice. This is a formal meeting. Your behavior is being documented. Vance looked around the room like he was seeing it for the first time. The frosted glass, the neutral walls, the two women staring at him with professional detachment. Me sitting silent across the table. Something broke in him. Not the same thing that broke in me earlier. Something different. Something worse. You know what? Fine. Document it. Document all of it. I don't care anymore. I'm sick of this place. I'm sick of watching thieves get promoted and snitches get protected. I'm sick of coming here every day and pretending like any of it matters. Fire me. I don't care. My wife left me last week. My house is going into foreclosure. I've got nothing left to lose. So go ahead. Fire me. See if I care. Silence. Complete. Total silence. Janice and the legal woman exchanged glances. Vance stood there breathing hard, tears forming in his eyes, fists clenched at his sides. I spoke for the first time. Vance, sit down. He looked at me. Really looked at me. For the first time since this started, he looked at me like I was a person instead of a target. Sit down, I said again. You're not helping yourself. He sat. The fight drained out of him. He put his head in his hands and just sat there, shoulders shaking. Janice cleared her throat. We're going to take a break. Mr. Vance, you'll wait here. Mr. Thompson, you can return to your desk for now. We'll be in touch. I stood up, walked to the door, paused, looked back at Vance, hunched over the table, crying silently. I didn't feel sorry for him. I didn't feel vindicated. I didn't feel anything. I just left. The walk back to my floor was surreal. People stared. Whispers followed me. My phone buzzed constantly. I ignored it all. I got to my cubicle, sat in the broken chair, and stared at my monitor. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. It was a photo of Vance leaving the building, head down, carrying a small box. The caption read, Vance just got walked out. You're next. I didn't respond. I put my phone face down on my desk and tried to breathe. At 2 p.m., Derek appeared at my cubicle. Not aggressive this time. Not smug. Just standing there, arms crossed, looking down at me. Heard you got Vance fired. I looked up at him. I didn't get anyone fired. He got himself fired. Derek nodded slowly. That's not how people are telling it. They're saying you provoked him. You said things about his family. You pushed him until he snapped. They're welcome to watch the video. Derek laughed. Short. Bitter. The video without audio. The video that shows him swinging but doesn't show what you said to make him swing. That video. Yeah, real helpful. I stood up. We were face to face again, just like before. I told him the truth. I told him you don't care about him. I told him he was drowning and you'd never throw him a rope. That's what I said. That's all I said. Derek's expression didn't change. And that's supposed to make it better? You told a man whose wife just left him that his life is falling apart. You did it in front of witnesses. You did it knowing he was already broken. And you think you're the good guy here. I felt something twist in my chest. Not guilt. Not exactly. Something else. Something uncomfortable. I didn't know about his wife. I didn't know about his house. I just knew he'd been coming at me for weeks. I just knew he wouldn't stop. Derek stepped closer. See, that's your problem. You only see what's right in front of you. You see the code. You see the theft. You see the insults. You don't see the people. You don't see that Vance was a desperate man looking for someone to blame. You don't see that Margaret is under pressure from the board to fix this mess quietly. You don't see that I've got a wife and kids who are getting death threats because of your little crusade. I blinked. Death threats? What death threats? Derek pulled out his phone and showed me a screenshot. It was a Facebook message to his wife. Your husband is a thief. Hope he chokes on his promotion. The account was fake. No profile picture. Random letters for a name. I didn't send that, I said. I never sent anything like that. Derek put his phone away. Doesn't matter if you sent it. Matters that she got it. Matters that my kids saw her crying. Matters that my 8-year-old asked me if someone was going to hurt daddy. That's what you've done. That's your legacy here. I felt the room spinning. I never wanted any of that. I just wanted credit for my work. I just wanted people to know I built it. Derek nodded. And now they know. They know you built it. They also know you're the reason Vance got fired. They know you're the reason my wife is scared to check her phone. They know you're the reason this company is tearing itself apart. Congratulations. You got what you wanted. Was it worth it? He walked away. I stood there, frozen, watching him go. People watched from their cubicles. No one said anything. No one moved. They just watched. I sat back down. My hands were shaking again. I looked at my code on the screen, the routing algorithm that started all of this. 6 months of work. 6 months of nights and weekends. 6 months of solving problems no one else could solve. And now this. Now Vance fired. Now Derek's wife terrified. Now the whole company torn apart. My phone buzzed. Another text from an unknown number. This time it was a screenshot of a post on some industry forum I'd never heard of. The post had my name, my photo, and a headline. Developer threatens veteran's family after promotion dispute. The comments were already piling up. People calling for me to be blacklisted. People saying they'd share my name with every hiring manager they knew. People saying I deserved whatever was coming. I put the phone down. I stared at the screen. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, empty, while the world burned around me. At 4:30 p.m., I got an email from Janice in HR. It was short, formal. It said that due to the ongoing investigation and the complexity of the situation, I was being placed on administrative leave effective immediately. Full pay pending further review. They would contact me within 7 business days with next steps. I was to leave the building within the hour and not return until notified. I read it 3 times. Administrative leave. Not fired. Not cleared. Just suspended. In limbo. Waiting. I packed my bag. Took my laptop. Left the broken chair where it was. Walked to the elevator. Past Derek's office. I'll take a quick break here to remind you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying the story, and tell us if something like this has ever happened to you. His door was closed. Past the break room. It was empty. Past the water cooler where Vance had first confronted me. It felt like years ago. Marcus was at his post in the lobby. He didn't look up as I walked past. I pushed through the revolving doors and stood outside, breathing the cold air, watching cars go by. My car was still in the lot. I didn't want to get it. I didn't want to walk past the spot where the target had been taped that morning. I just stood there, frozen, unsure what to do next. My phone buzzed. Another text. Another screenshot. Another forum post. Another comment thread. Another person telling me I was garbage. I turned my phone off, walked to my car, got in, drove home, didn't remember the drive, didn't remember anything until I was sitting on my couch in the dark, staring at the wall, wondering how 6 months of work had turned into this. That was 3 days ago. I've been home ever since. Administrative leave means I can't go to the office. It doesn't mean I can escape what's happening. The messages keep coming. The forum posts keep spreading. Someone found my personal email and signed me up for spam newsletters. Dozens a day. Hundreds. My inbox is unusable. Derek's wife posted again on Facebook. A photo of their kids at a park. The caption, trying to find normal after everything. Thank you to everyone who's reached out. We feel the love. We'll get through this. The comments are full of people from work. Patricia from payroll. Chloe from customer service. Tessa from marketing. Even Marcus the security guard. All of them sending love, sending support, sending prayers. All of them united against me. I haven't responded to anything. I haven't posted anything. I just sit here, waiting for the next email, the next text, the next forum post. Waiting to find out if I still have a job. Waiting to find out if I still have a career. Waiting to find out if any of this was worth it. The investigation continues. The 7 business days tick slowly by. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'll be fired or reinstated or something in between. I don't know if Derek will keep his promotion or lose it. I don't know if Vance will find another job or lose his house. I don't know anything anymore. Update 2. The 7 business days turned into 10, then 14. Then I stopped counting. Administrative leave became a where time didn't exist. I sat in my apartment, phone off, laptop closed, watching the light change through the blinds. The world outside kept moving. Mine stopped. On day 15, I got a certified letter. Not an email, not a phone call. A physical letter delivered by a uniformed mailman who made me sign for it. I stood in my doorway in sweatpants and signed my name on his little screen while he looked at me like I was a criminal. The envelope was thick. Company logo in the corner. Return address marked legal department. I closed the door and opened it standing up. My hands were shaking again. They'd been shaking on and off for 2 weeks. The letter was from the law firm representing the company. Not from HR. Not from Margaret. From actual lawyers. It outlined the findings of the investigation. 6 pages of legalese followed by a conclusion that made my blood run cold. They had determined that while my contributions to the routing algorithm were substantial, Derek's role in client-facing implementation and stakeholder management constituted a significant collaborative effort. They found that my decision to bypass HR and contact the board directly violated internal communication protocols. They found that my confrontation with Vance in the break room, combined with my documented history of aggressive responses to workplace feedback, created a hostile work environment. They were terminating my employment, effective immediately. Cause cited. No severance, no bonus, no acknowledgement, just termination. I read it 3 times. Then I read it again. Then I threw it across the room and watched it hit the wall and scatter across the floor. 6 pages of lies. 6 pages of corporate cover-up. 6 pages telling me that I was the problem, that my reaction to being stolen from was worse than the theft itself. I sat on the floor with my back against the couch and stared at the scattered pages. My phone was off. I hadn't turned it on in 3 days. I didn't want to see the messages. I didn't want to see the forum posts. I didn't want to see anything. But I had to. I had to know if they'd announced it. I had to know if Derek was celebrating. I had to know if Vance was laughing somewhere. I turned my phone on. It buzzed continuously for 2 minutes. Notifications piled up. WhatsApp messages, Facebook tags, Instagram DMs, emails, texts, dozens, hundreds. I scrolled through them without reading, just looking for patterns. The pattern was clear. Everyone knew. The company had sent a mass email an hour before my letter arrived. It went to all staff. It announced that after a thorough investigation, I was no longer employed by the company. It thanked me for my contributions and wished me well in future endeavors. It did not mention Derek. It did not mention the algorithm. It did not mention the theft. It just erased me. The WhatsApp group exploded. Screenshots of the email, comments, reactions, celebrations. Finally, took them long enough. Karma is real. Derek must be so relieved. Now we can all move on. Who's gonna code the algorithm now, though? Who cares? Someone else will figure it out. I kept scrolling. Deeper and deeper. Past the celebration posts. Past the people tagging Derek to congratulate him. Past the people posting memes about snitches. Deeper to the stuff that wasn't meant for public consumption. Someone had started a new group. Private. Invite only. But someone in the group had taken screenshots and sent them to me. Anonymously. Probably someone who felt guilty. Probably someone who wanted me to see what they were really saying. The group was called Cleanup Crew. The messages were from people I knew. People I'd worked with for years. Patricia from payroll. Chloe from customer service. Tessa from marketing. Marcus the security guard. Even Raj from IT security. The guy who told me my case was solid. The guy who looked me in the eye in the elevator and said the truth takes time. Raj had written, "Glad that's over." He was making everyone paranoid. Patricia, I knew from day one he was trouble. Too quiet. Too intense. Chloe, Derek's wife sent me flowers. Can you believe it? Flowers. For supporting them through this. Tessa, Vance is still a mess though. He's not handling it well. Marcus, Vance made his own bed. Shouldn't have swung on the guy. Made us all look bad. Raj, whatever. It's done now. Time to move on. I stared at Raj's message for a long time. Raj, who reviewed the footage. Raj, who knew the timestamps were solid. Raj, who told me my case was solid. And now he was in a group chat celebrating my termination, calling me paranoid. Glad it was over. I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not sadness. Something colder. Something final. I got up off the floor. I walked to my laptop. I opened it. I started writing. For 2 weeks on administrative leave, I hadn't done nothing. I'd been planning. I'd been documenting. I'd been saving everything. Every screenshot, every message, every forum post, every edited screenshot of things I never said, every comment from every group chat, every email, every text, every thread. I had it all organized in folders, chronological order, categorized by type. Screenshots of the original Slack messages where Derek asked me to dumb it down. Screenshots of the emails where I sent him compiled modules, the voice memo, the repository timestamp, the security camera requests that were denied, the parking lot target, the broken chair, the technical issues with every camera that mattered. I had hours of audio recordings. I'd started recording everything after the first week. Every phone call, every conversation in the office, every confrontation. I had Derek in my cubicle telling me I was storage. I had Vance at the coffee machine calling me a janitor. I had Derek's wife's Facebook message. I had my response, unedited, proving I never threatened anyone. I had the WhatsApp groups, dozens of them. Some I was in, some I was added to against my will. Some I received anonymously. All of them preserved. All of them timestamped. All of them showing the coordinated campaign to destroy me. I spent 3 hours writing. Not a response. Not a rebuttal. A comprehensive, chronological, evidence-backed narrative of everything that had happened. From the first day Derek hovered around my desk to the certified letter arriving at my door. I included screenshots as attachments. I included audio files. I included video stills from the break room footage that someone had anonymously sent me the week before. The full version, with audio, video, proving I never threatened Vance, proving Vance swung first, proving everything. When I was done, I had a 47-page PDF with 23 supporting exhibits. I uploaded it to a file-sharing service and generated a public link. Then I started sending it, not to the company, not to HR, not to the board. They'd already made their decision. They'd already chosen their side. Sending it to them would be pointless. I sent it to every industry publication I could find, every tech blog, every logistics trade journal, every local news outlet that covered business. I sent it to the Better Business Bureau. I sent it to the State Labor Board. I sent it to the Veterans Affairs Office with a note explaining how Derek used his veteran status as a shield while his wife coordinated online harassment. I sent it to every competitor in our space. I sent it to every client our company had, using email addresses I'd collected over 4 years of projects. I sent it to Derek's wife's Facebook friends. All of them. Hundreds of people who'd commented on her posts supporting her, sending love, calling me garbage. I sent them the truth, the unedited messages, the screenshots they hadn't seen, the audio of Derek admitting he needed the optics. I sent it to the anonymous numbers that had been texting me threats. I sent it with a note. I know you're probably someone from work. Here's the full story. Share it with your friends. I sent it to every WhatsApp group I'd ever been in, including the ones that had removed me. I sent it with a message. Since you wouldn't let me leave, here's something to read. I sent it to Patricia, to Chloe, to Tessa, to Marcus, to Raj, individually, personally, with a note for each of them based on what they'd said in the cleanup crew group. To Raj, the truth took time. Here it is. Hope it was worth the wait. To Patricia, too quiet, too intense, too busy documenting everything. Enjoy the reading. To Chloe, hope Derek's wife sends you more flowers. You're gonna need them. To Marcus, camera's working now? Check this out. I sent it to Vance. I didn't have a cruel note for him. I just sent the link. He'd been through enough. Then I waited. The first response came within an hour. A reporter from a tech publication I'd never heard of emailed me asking for an interview. I gave it 2 hours on the phone, walking through the timeline, answering questions, providing additional documentation. She published at midnight. The headline, developer fired after reporting theft posts, 47-page expose. I have nothing left to lose. The article was fair, balanced. It included my side and, where possible, the company's response. The company's response was, we do not comment on personnel matters. That was it. That was all they had. By morning, the article had been shared thousands of times. By noon, it was on Hacker News. By evening, it was on Reddit. The comments were different this time. Not people calling me garbage. Not people defending Derek. People asking questions. People reading the documents. People seeing the edited screenshots compared to the originals. People realizing they'd been manipulated. My phone exploded again, but different. This time it was interview requests. This time it was support messages. This time it was people from the industry offering jobs, offering to testify, offering to help. But it was also retaliation. Within 24 hours of the article publishing, I got a cease and desist letter from the company's lawyers, demanding I take down the documents, demanding I retract the statements, threatening legal action for breach of confidentiality, defamation, theft of company property. I laughed when I read it. Actually laughed out loud in my empty apartment. Then I posted the letter online with a caption. They fired me for telling the truth. Now they want me to stop showing the proof. Guess they didn't read the 47 pages. The story grew. Other publications picked it up. A national news site ran a piece about corporate retaliation and intellectual property theft. A logistics industry blog ran a deep dive on the routing algorithm itself, confirming its value, confirming that Derek couldn't have written it. Anonymous sources inside the company started leaking. Real leaks, not the edited screenshots from before. People who'd been silent during the campaign against me suddenly found their voices. One of them was Tessa from marketing. She sent me a long email apologizing. She said she'd been scared. She said Derek's wife had targeted anyone who showed me support. She said she was sorry. She attached screenshots of a private group she was in, one I hadn't seen, where Derek's wife coordinated the attacks, where she told people what to post, when to post it, how to make it look organic, where she bragged about getting Vance fired by making him think I'd provoked him. Vance. That piece clicked into place. Vance, whose wife had left him. Vance, who was drowning financially. Vance, who swung on me in the break room. Derek's wife had been in his ear. She'd been feeding him information. She'd been pushing him toward that confrontation. I called Vance. I don't know why. I found his number in an old company directory and I called him. He answered on the fourth ring, voice hollow. Hello, Vance. It's me. Silence. Long enough that I thought he'd hung up. I saw the article, he finally said. All of it. The documents. The screenshots. I'll take a quick break here to remind you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying the story and tell us if something like this has ever happened to you. The audio. Yeah, another long silence. She told me you said things about my wife. She told me you were trying to get me fired. She told me if I didn't shut you down, I'd lose everything. Derek's wife. Yeah, we were messaging for weeks. She said she was looking out for me. She said you were the common enemy. She said if we worked together, we could get rid of you and everything would go back to normal. I didn't respond. I didn't know what to say. She knew about my wife wife leaving. She knew about the house. She used it. She used all of it to make me do what she wanted. And I was so scared, so desperate that I let her. I let her turn me into someone who swings on people in break rooms, into someone who loses his job and his wife and almost his house because he was too stupid to see he was being used. Vance, don't try to make me feel better. I don't deserve it. I called you names. I got in your face. I swung at you. And you tried to warn me. In the break room, right before I lost it, you told me Derek didn't care about me. You told me I was being used. And I didn't listen. I was so far gone I didn't listen. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, staring at the wall. What are you going to do? I don't know. I really don't know. My wife isn't coming back. The house is probably gone. My career is definitely gone. No one's going to hire the guy who swung on a coworker in a break room. Not after all this. Not with my name all over the internet. I didn't name you in the article. I kept you out. I know. I saw. Why? After everything I did, why? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Because you were a tool, not a weapon. Because she used you. Because you're as much a victim in this as anyone. Vance laughed. Bitter. Broken. Victim. Yeah, that's one word for it. Another word is coward. Another word is fool. Another word is, I don't know. There aren't enough words. We sat in silence for a while. Then he spoke again. She's not stopping, you know. Derek's wife. She's already planning the next phase. I saw messages. She's hiring a PR person. Someone to manage the narrative. Someone to counter your article. She's got money. Family money. She's going to bury you. Let her try? I've got nothing left to lose. She can't bury what's already been dug up. Vance was quiet for a moment. I have screenshots of our conversations. Her manipulating me. Her telling me what to do. Her celebrating after I got fired. If you need them, they're yours. I blinked. You do that. I do that. It's the least I can do. Probably still not enough, but it's something. He sent them. An hour later, I had a folder full of messages between Vance and Derek's wife. Her coaching him. Her feeding him lines. Her telling him I was the enemy. Her promising he'd be rewarded. Her celebrating when he swung on me. Her dropping him the second he got fired. I added them to the collection. I updated the document. Version 2.0. New exhibits. New revelations. New proof that this wasn't just a workplace dispute. It was a coordinated campaign orchestrated by someone who'd never even worked at the company. I published it with a new headline. The Wife Behind the War. How one woman used social media to destroy lives. The response was immediate. Bigger than before. National news picked it up this time. Not just tech blogs. Actual news. Evening news. Morning shows. They wanted interviews. They wanted comments. They wanted me on camera. I said no to most of them. I did one interview with a major network. I sat in my apartment, cleaned up, nervous, and told my story to a reporter who actually listened. She asked good questions. She pressed me on details. She verified documents. At the end, she looked at me and said something I'll never forget. You know you've won, right? Not just legally, not just professionally. You've won the narrative. You've won the truth. They can't take that back. I didn't feel like I'd won. I felt hollow, empty, like I'd spent so long fighting that I'd forgotten what peace felt like. But she was right about one thing. The narrative had shifted. Derek's wife's social media went dark. Her Facebook disappeared. Her Instagram went private. The burner accounts stopped posting. The coordinated attacks stopped. The people who'd been piling on me suddenly went silent or, in some cases, started apologizing. Patricia from payroll sent me an email, long rambling, full of excuses about how she'd been misled, how she didn't know the full story, how she hoped I could forgive her. I didn't respond. Chloe from customer service sent me a Facebook message, public. Anyone could see it. She wrote that she was deeply sorry for her role in the harassment and that she was taking time to reflect. The comments on her post were brutal. People calling her out. People sharing screenshots of what she'd said in the cleanup crew group. People demanding she be fired. Tessa from marketing called me, crying, apologizing, begging me to tell people she wasn't as bad as the others. I told her I couldn't control what people thought. I told her she'd made her choices. I told her to live with them. Marcus, the security guard, got fired. Someone leaked the footage of him letting people into the parking lot early to tape the target to my spot. The company couldn't explain that away. They couldn't claim technical issues when the footage clearly showed him letting someone through, showing them where my car was, watching them tape the paper to the concrete. He was gone within 48 hours of that footage going public. Raj from IT security resigned. His name was all over the cleanup crew screenshots. His comments about me being paranoid, about being glad it was over, about moving on, they were everywhere. He couldn't walk into the office without people staring. He couldn't do his job without someone questioning his integrity. He lasted 3 days after the second article before submitting his resignation. Derek's wife's PR person quit. Apparently, she hadn't been told the full story. Apparently, she'd been hired to manage a workplace misunderstanding and instead found herself defending a coordinated harassment campaign. She backed out publicly, issuing a statement that she could not in good conscience continue representing clients who engage in targeted online harassment. Derek himself went silent. No social media, no comments, no interviews. He just disappeared. I heard later that he'd taken leave. Stress, they said. Family reasons, they said. The same company that had promoted him, that had fired me, that had covered for for him. They couldn't protect him anymore. The narrative had shifted too far. The company's stock price dipped. Nothing catastrophic, but enough to get noticed. Enough for investors to ask questions. Enough for the board to schedule an emergency meeting. Enough for Margaret, the COO who'd offered me a bribe to stay quiet, to issue a public statement expressing deep concern about the situation and announcing a comprehensive review of internal policies. She didn't mention me. She didn't mention Derek. She didn't mention any of it. Just corporate language. Just damage control. Just trying to sweep it under a rug that was already on fire. Vance called me again, a week after the second article. His voice sounded different, stronger, like he'd found something to hold on to. I got a job, he said. Nothing great. Warehouse supervisor. Pays half what I was making, but it's something. Congratulations, Vance. Yeah, thanks. Listen, I called to tell you something. I testified to the labor board. I told them everything. About Derek's wife, about the messages, about the setup, about swinging on you. All of it. I didn't know what to say. Why? Because it's the right thing. Because I spent months doing the wrong thing and I'm tired of it. Because maybe if I tell the truth now, it'll mean something. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe it'll help someone else. I don't know. I just know I had to do it. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Not vindication, not satisfaction, something softer, something like connection. Thank you, Vance. That means something. It means a lot. Yeah, well, don't thank me yet. The board's investigation could take months, and Derek's wife is still out there. She's quiet now, but she's not done. People like her don't stop. They just wait. I know. I'm waiting too. We talk for a while longer. About nothing. About everything. About his new job and my interview offers and the weirdness of being on opposite sides of something and somehow ending up on the same side at the end. When we hung up, I felt lighter. Not happy, not healed, but lighter. The weeks that followed were a blur. Interviews, offers, speaking requests. A tech company in a different city reached out with a job offer. Real money, real title, real work. They'd read the articles. They'd seen the documents. They wanted me to build things for them, and they promised I'd get credit for everything I built. I took it. I'm taking it. I leave next month. The labor board investigation is ongoing. The company is still doing their comprehensive review. Derek is still on leave. His wife's social media is still dark. The cleanup crew group disbanded. Most of them are looking for new jobs or trying to explain to future employers why their names appear in screenshots about coordinated harassment. I don't know what's going to happen to any of them. I don't really care anymore. They made their choices. They'll live with the consequences. I got a letter yesterday. Certified mail again. Different envelope. Different logo. It was from a law firm representing Derek and his wife. They were threatening legal action. Defamation, they said. Invasion of privacy, they said. Emotional distress, they said. They demanded I retract the articles, remove the documents, and issue a public apology. I read it. I laughed. I posted it online with a caption, "They're still trying." Guess they didn't read the 48 pages. I'm not scared of them anymore. I'm not scared of any of it. The worst already happened. I lost my job. I lost my reputation. I lost months of my life to stress and fear and anger. And I survived. I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still telling the truth. The routing algorithm is still running at the company. They're still using it. Every day, it saves them time and money. Every day, it proves its value. Every day, it reminds them that they fired the person who built it and kept the person who stole it. I don't know if they'll ever admit they were wrong. I don't know if Derek will ever face real consequences. I don't know if the labor board will do anything. I don't know if the lawsuits will materialize or fizzle out. But I know this. I built something real. Something that works. Something that matters. And no matter what they do, they can't take that away. They can't take the knowledge. They can't take the skill. They can't take the fact that I spent 6 months solving problems they didn't even know they had. I start my new job in a few weeks. New city, new company, new people. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm terrified. I'm hopeful. The end. NTA, you created a routing algorithm that cut delivery times by 40% and kept the company running during tough supply chain times. That was 6 months of real, valuable work. Derek, with no coding skills, asked you many questions, got detailed explanations, then presented the entire system as his own idea. He got promoted to Director of Operations Innovation, with your code shown on screen under his name. You gathered clear proof, timestamps, messages, emails, and a voice recording where he said to call you just a consultant for optics. You sent this directly to leadership because HR would likely not help. The company offered you a small bonus and title change if you stayed quiet and let Derek keep the promotion. You refused. They placed you on leave, then fired you for creating a hostile environment. While Derek stayed and the algorithm kept running under his credit. Coworkers turned against you. Silent treatment, group chats with edited messages making you look threatening, notes on your parking spot, broken office equipment, and online harassment including texts and posts about your personal life. You You released a detailed 47-page document with all evidence to industry sites, news, clients, and others only after you were fired with no severance. This changed the story. Some people apologized, others left or were let go. Derek took leave, and his wife's online activities stopped. You found a better job where your work will be properly credited. You stood up for your own contribution when no one else would. The company protected the wrong person and punished the one who told the truth. That makes you not the asshole. You defended what was right, even when it cost you a lot. You did what was fair. They did not. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments, and let us know which one was your favorite.